Hey, so I got something for you, my man.
All right, talk to me, bro.
This this was crazy. I'm about to pull it up. You know we're unprofessional. We can have our phones up. Here we go. So I gotta ask the backseat critic something.
I'm the fact dragon.
Ow! Who took off their shirt? Okay, take it off your shirt. This is on camera. Why did you take off your shirt?
My name's Rob.
Wow. You're wow.
I'm a mix of medium and large. I'm tall and I'm thin. Some mediums fit me like a midriff.
I did say that.
Fit me like a tent. I gotta figure it out.
You.
So actually, no, he actually had more of a cause for me to give him my shirt because, like I said with my friend, he didn't have a shirt, so he was in need. You have a shirt on, so it really didn't make sense.
Before I start this next segment, he's always shy. This is you never mind. Never mind. This is interesting. You're showing out. He's never like this. He must like you. Anywho.
Wow.
Watch out.
Bro. Come on, G. Come on.
Yeah. Welcome to the team. But to talk about something tad bit serious because this did shock the shit out of me. Because I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I'm still figuring out like how to put other videos in so I don't get copyright struck. But I think I could take videos more from TikTok. But this one came from YouTube. But this is from the O'Shea Duke Jackson show. Sometimes I listen, but there's this young TikTok black woman, and she was talking about growing up in one of those white areas, and she talked about how she let her white boyfriend call her a slave and the N-word. And now hopefully I'll get good enough to kind of put what she was talking about, but it was like a 30-second like thing of like this young African-American girl talking about how her self-esteem was so low and how she wanted to be accepted so much that she would allow that to happen. And then come to find out, she found out that the person only dated her out of pity, and it was like an inside joke for her friends. And it was just like crazy to like.
All right, so I have a lot of questions now. All right, so, and you may or may not know these answers, so you got it off for TikTok. One, roughly how old was this person?
She looked like 23, 22.
Oh, so this is a woman. Okay.
Yeah, it's a young woman.
Okay.
This is not a young adult.
Yeah.
This is not.
Yeah.
I don't think she's like a high schooler, but I think she was like doing like a makeup tutorial. But she was just like free going and like talking about
the experience,
self-esteem and things like that.
Okay. Secondly, may or may not know this as well. I'm not trying to generalize anybody here. Did she grow up in a household with black parents?
I don't think that was.
I know you said you grew up in a predominantly white neighborhood.
That's what she was saying.
Okay. Cause I ain't gonna hold you. Ain't no way in hell, boy. Like,
I think the thing that caught my eye the most is like, one, I applaud her strength.
Yeah.
For saying and admitting something like that, but also I kind of look like I don't want to say look down upon her. I think I just get sad because that's what happens to like a lot of people when they're in need.
Yeah.
So I think the topic I really want to bring up is obviously still keeping it on her, and then like we're just kind of like, when we need stuff, why do we go to those types of degrees and levels to search out things?
And me laughing now, I hope you don't take that as me laughing at her experience.
I'm
laughing like I couldn't even imagine.
Oh no,
like somebody fixing their lips did not.
She was saying like the guy was saying like, "Oh, hey, slave baby," and all the other stuff. Where it's kind of like, I wish my niece would say something like that to me. We gonna roll up to Roosevelt in all types of ways, you know. But you know, like there's multiple ways we can take this, but you know, I don't want to totally like because I said a lot to you, but like, what are like, what's coming up mostly for you?
My immediate reaction is this. I hope that she knows as a black woman that she is loved and supported by people who appreciate her for her blackness. Based off like what you were describing, it sounds as though there was a lot of tokenizing going amongst that friend group and just like her community in general. I hope she is able to find communities somewhere else, even if it's just one other person that appreciates her as a person and not just this, for lack of better words, like slave or like, it's just black girl like in my city or whatever have you. I completely abhor like any type of prejudices that people may have, especially when it comes to that type of dynamic, just given the history of this country. He's really a clown, in my opinion.
Yeah, and like the more and more of the kind of like talk about it, it's like the more and more like it's like I feel like we're getting so like numb to this stuff where it's like you hear about like, because like I even go into like bullying for my, what happened to like me and things like that, where like, I think, I don't know. No, I'm not even gonna go that. I'm not gonna go that way. I'll just say this because I want to keep it on her. Because I agree with you. Yes, I just hope that she knows now that that was that person's ignorance and maltreatment, and how she won't hold it against loving people again, because that's like a scar. Because just think about our worst scars, and like sometimes how when we're unhealed, we hold that against people.
Yeah, for sure.
And like I think that's more or less what I think about her, because because there's another point I want to take it, but like, it makes me kind of just like real sad.
I hope she is able to, whether it be talking with a counselor or a therapist or whatever have you, actually unpack that, because I know it can be scary getting out into the dating scene, and for that to be your experience, like you said, she could carry that trauma or get to a point where she's like, okay, maybe I don't want to date people outside of my race in fear that I'm gonna have to deal with something like this. So.
And I think the reason why I really want to talk about that, one was for that woman, but also two is like, it's just sad that we're at a point where like when we feel that low about ourselves, or we seek validation anywhere. So it kind of makes me think, and I even speaking on myself, where it's kind of like, man, thinking of times where like I was at my lowest, but like I just sometimes like I didn't think it can get that low for people, man. Like even my lowest, I still had a sense of like ego and pride. So it makes me kind of think like, how do people like get there?
Yeah.
Cause like, could you even imagine like subjecting yourself to something like that?
No, but like you said, you don't know the crosses that different people have to carry. So with that, you may just be looking for love, and wherever it may come from, and it can look differently to people. Also, who knows what's telling she may have went through at an earlier age, whether it be within her own household or just in her community in general, where this may just be the one person in her life where she feels she gets any type of reciprocated affection, and that may just unfortunately come with that type of BS, and that may have just been enough for her at that time. I'm glad that that it sounds like that relationship was severed, and now she does find error in the way that he was speaking to her, because it is disgusting, truthfully.
It makes me kind of think. I'm trying to think of the comedian that passed. Like he was before his time. He's like very like raunchy comedian. Oh my gosh, Fact Dragon. It's not Bernie Mac.
Comedian.
He had like a radio show. He was overweight. Patrice O'Neal. Like I know a lot of people could could see some of his like stuff as misogynistic and things like that. But I was listening to like one of his like radio segments, and because they do a lot of like relationship bits and things like that. Because there's some truth in what Homeboy's saying, but like he was talking about you gotta love someone, but you also have to be strong enough to leave that person at any time. Meaning, like, you have a standard where, like, I think people misconstrue that so much of, like, I love you so much to stay to work on stuff with you, but I also love myself enough not to torment and subject myself to bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people have a hard time figuring out what stuff you tolerate and stuff you don't.
And you know what I see being the root causes of that? How much in our culture we have we almost give like a star of approval for using the term "I'm a ride or die." Like, no, there should be like a limit to certain stuff you're willing to deal with in any type of relationship, whether it be like romantic, platonic, even with family. I'm sure that everybody got that one side. Never mind.
It's my dad's side.
Everybody, bro. So everybody. But yeah, no, there's a limit to what you should be willing to tolerate or even accept, as long as the conversation's had. And at that point, if they still trying to violate, then it just is what it is.
Ooh, okay, organic topic. I think this is a perfect way to ease on out to the show.
Okay, shoot it.